Incredible twist. Single mom rescues drowning billionaire. His 5-year search reveals touching truths. The storm brewed overhead, dark clouds swirling like the tempestuous thoughts grappling inside Sarah's mind. It was supposed to be a carefree day at the lake with her son, then just a chance for fun and laughter to break the mundane routine of her life as a waitress. But as the sky darkened, an urgent instinct surged through her veins. Something was about to change. Ben splashed gleefully in the shallows, his laughter cutting through the heavy air. But in a blink, everything turned ominous. A distant shout drew her attention. There, struggling against the choppy water, was a man, a figure twisting and flailing, his face a mask of panic. Without a moment's hesitation, Sarah dove in, a fierce determination propelling her through the cold, churning waves. The lake was wild and merciless, but her heart pumped with courage. She could not let him drown. Every stroke felt like a battle. The water pulled her down, yet urgency steeled her resolve. She made it to him, grasping his arm, her grip tight like the fierce love she held for Ben. With a gasp, she pulled him to the surface, their bodies breaking through the water together. They tumbled onto the shore, gasping and sputtering, and for a moment, Sarah was struck by their stark contrast. He, a billion-dollar empire, and she, just a struggling single mother. "Thank you," he managed, his voice shaky but filled with gratitude. His name was Jack, and in that raw moment of survival, something deeper stirred between them. But as the days passed, Jack remained in Maplewood, recovering under the watchful eyes of this woman who had saved him. They shared awkward laughs over coffee, exchanged stories about their lives, each word peeling back layers of heartbreak and hope. Sarah spoke of long nights at the diner, dreaming of a better future for Ben, while Jack unveiled the emptiness that shadowed his fortune. His wealth could buy anything but love, camaraderie, and the warmth of a home. Now, before I continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. But as the weeks melted into months, an inevitable tension simmered between them. Jack's world pulled at him, a stark contrast to the life Sarah had built for herself. His family, opulent and judgmental, would never accept someone like her. They sent whispers and messages that cut like daggers, sowing seeds of doubt. Would love be enough to conquer the weight of their expectations? One stormy evening, the family announced an uninvited visit, complete with their wealth and the weight of their disdain. As they entered, an air of expectation choked the room. Sarah sensed their judgment, cold and piercing. In a crucial moment, she found herself standing before Jack, trembling with uncertainty, all eyes on her. Would Jack choose her and the love they nurtured, or would he succumb to the fears of his privileged upbringing? The atmosphere crackled with tension, a crossroads where love and societal expectations collided, waiting for Jack to make the choice that would redefine their lives forever. Jack's family flooded into the small living room like a storm front, filling every corner with tension and disapproval. Sarah stood tall, her heart racing, but doubts rippled through her mind. She could see the looks on their faces, a mix of disbelief and condescension, as though her mere presence was an affront to their world. "Jack," his mother quipped, her voice dripping with derision, "you're truly going to introduce us to her?" She gestured disdainfully at Sarah, who felt the weight of their judgment like a heavy cloak. "Mom, please," Jack responded, his tone weary but firm. He stepped closer to Sarah, his gaze softening as he turned to her. "This is Sarah. She saved my life." A flush of pride and vulnerability washed over Sarah at his words, a contradiction that sent her heart into a tumult. She forced a smile, holding back the storm of emotion at being recognized for more than her background as a waitress. "Saved your life? Honestly, Jack, were you really drowning or just playing the hero for a moment?" His brother sneered, elbowing their father, who stood with an expression of distaste, arms crossed and jaw set tight. "Enough," Jack barked, anger igniting in his voice. "You don't get to belittle her. Sarah is not just some waitress. She is extraordinary. Words danced around the room, stretching tight as a bowstring, waiting to snap. Sarah's hands trembled at her sides, the pressure of their judgment suffocating. She could feel Ben's small hand clutching her leg, sensing the tension that crackled in the air. She met Jack's gaze, searching for affirmation, but found only a gathering storm in his eyes too. "Mom, you have to understand," Jack began, but Sarah interrupted, not wanting him to fight his family's battles for her. "I don't need your approval," she said, her voice steadier than she felt. The family exchanged incredulous glances, disbelief etched on their faces. "You're playing a dangerous game," Jack, his father, warned, the rich timbre of authority not lost on her. "Wealth isn't just about the money. It's about reputation and legacy. Do you really think a relationship with her won't sustain ours?" "Enough," Jack shot back, running a hand through his dark hair in frustration. "You think wealth and power define worth? Then you've missed the entire point of life." An uneasy silence settled over the room, laden with the realization that this confrontation could split them apart. Yet Sarah felt the tension between Jack and his family, felt the pain of a man struggling to choose between love and loyalty. A sudden wave of courage surged within her. "Jack," maybe she hesitated, searching for the words. "Maybe this isn't worth it." "But you're worth it," he fired back, resolve dancing in his eyes, pulling her closer with an intensity that melted her doubts. But shadows loomed. What did love mean in the face of a gilded cage? Could they fight this battle together? "Family isn't just blood," she whispered, heart racing. "It's the people who respect and support you." Jack looked at her, searching for answers in her steadfast gaze. But as his family's judgment hung heavy, the air thick with unresolved emotion, the question lingered unanswered. Would Jack forsake his past for a chance at real love, or would respect and status overpower the connection they'd forged? Just then, a flash of lightning illuminated the darkening sky outside, punctuating the uncertainty that swirled within. As the storm outside raged on, inside the house, silence reigned, a suspenseful pause pregnant with possibilities. What lay ahead? Would love be strong enough to weather the storm? Jack's body was taut, a spring coiled tightly, ready to unleash. The tension in the room thickened, almost palpable. Sarah could see the veins in his neck stand out as he struggled between defending her and reconciling with his family. She knew it was time to diffuse the situation before it spiraled out of control. "Maybe we should take a step back," Sarah suggested, her voice trembling slightly. She glanced at Ben, who watched wide-eyed, sensing the electricity between them and the uncomfortable atmosphere. "This isn't how we should start our relationship." Jack's gaze softened but remained resolute. "No, I won't let them do this to you, to us," he said, the intensity in his eyes a blend of fierce determination and vulnerability. His family's scorn pressed down on them like an iron weight, but Jack wouldn't budge. "Let us just talk. No drama," she insisted, her mind racing. "We can't change their perspective in one night, Jack." Her heart ached at the thought of them being judged so ruthlessly, yet she felt the steely resolve within herself to protect whatever they had built together. "Why should I care about what they think?" he replied, frustration lacing his words. "You're worth so much more than their expectations." At that moment, Jack's mother, ever the queen bee, chimed in. "This isn't about worth, dear. It's about choice. You have a choice to make, Jack." She loomed, a queen surveying a battlefield, her words sharp and cold. The room buzzed with tension, and Sarah could hear her pulse in her ears. The weight of judgment from Jack's parents felt like chains binding their future. "You say it's a choice," Sarah replied, her voice more confident than she felt. "But true love isn't a decision based on societal approval." Jack's brother scoffed, crossing a leg over his knee, exuding an arrogance Sarah found infuriating. "You're naive if you think love conquers all, especially love built on a shaky foundation." "Maybe, but foundations can change," she countered, meeting each pair of eyes with resilience. "Human connection can shatter stereotypes. We can be more than your prejudice allows." The silence that followed felt electric. Jack's eyebrows dipped in confusion, yet admiration flickered in his eyes. A crack formed in the wall between them and his family, a possibility. "See," Sarah breathed. "This could be an opportunity to grow, put all these preconceived notions aside." For a brief moment, Sarah felt the room shift. But it was Jack who stepped forward, his body rigid but his eyes alight with something more profound than rebellion. I'm not going to allow my family's views to dictate who I keep close to my heart, he declared, voice steady like the calm after a storm. Jack, think of the repercussions, his father warned, the authority in his voice faltering through jagged breaths. Repercussions? Jack echoed, stepping closer to the table, his eyes locked onto his father's. You mean the loss of a bond worth protecting? I won't let you tear me away from Sarah, nor will you take Ben away from me. Ben shifted beside Sarah, his expression a mixture of confusion and awe. Mom, can I stay here? He asked in a tiny voice, tugging on her pant leg. Sarah crouched down, brushing her fingers through his hair, trying to anchor him amidst the chaos. Yes, buddy. You are safe with me. With every heartbeat, the stakes rose. The air crackled unpredictably, drawing strength from the connection they shared. Would Jack truly stand against his family? Would the bonds they created together be strong enough to grow beyond this confrontation? As the rain poured down, thunder growled outside, creating an intensity that mirrored the tempest brewing in the room. And beneath it all, a question lingered in Sarah's mind. Did they possess the strength to weather this storm together? Just as she found herself wondering about the challenges ahead, she glanced back at Jack and saw the shield of defiance rising within him. What did this moment mean for them? Would they rebuild from the ashes of disapproval or succumb to the weight of family expectations? The answer felt closer than ever, yet so terribly out of reach. The air was thick with uncertainty, a tension that clung to Sarah and Jack like a heavy mist. Jack's jaw clenched, his resolve battling the fear that flickered in his eyes as he faced his family's disapproval. It would have been so easy to turn away, to retreat to a safe distance where their opinions couldn't pierce through his heart. But he didn't want to escape. He wanted to fight. Sarah's voice broke through the storm of emotions swirling around them. She wanted to grab hold of his hand, to lend him strength. You don't have to do this alone. His intense gaze flickered toward her, softening just a fraction. But I want to protect you. I won't let them treat you like this. Not now, not ever. As the rain lashed against the window, Jack's father uncrossed his legs, leaning forward. You need to think. This isn't just about you or her. There are consequences to your choices. Do you really want to risk everything? Jack's silence was deafening, his gaze turning toward the window as if searching for an answer. Sarah could see the turmoil inside him. She took a step forward, fueled by a combination of fear and determination. Jack, listen. At the end of the day, you have to live with your choices. But shutting me out won't solve anything. The storm outside mirrored the tempest brewing inside Jack. He looked from his parents' faces, etched in disappointment and disdain, to Sarah, who stood firm in her belief. Could he create a life where love triumphed over societal shackles? Jack, his mother interjected, the edge in her voice sharp enough to slice through the tension. You have a chance to follow a path that's honorable. Don't throw that away. Honor? Jack's voice rose, filled with raw emotion. What is honorable about sacrificing my happiness for your views? I refuse to live my life according to your standards. Ben's small voice broke the tension again. I like it when you smile, Uncle Jack. Can't you smile again? His innocent question hung in the air, a reminder of the warmth lost amidst the coldness of judgment that Jack's heart twisted. He turned, kneeling beside Ben, drawing him into an embrace that felt pure, unadulterated by external expectations. I'm going to smile, I promise. I'll fight for what's right. Sarah watched as Jack's demeanor shifted, his posture straightening, fueled by the tiny hands gripping his waist, and her own heart surged with hope. She stepped closer, her resolve reflecting in her eyes. Together, we can build something new. As a family. Jack turned to look at her, truly seeing her for the first time. It wasn't just a spark of rebellion. It was a commitment, a promise he was ready to make. Maybe there's a way to find that balance, he said softly. But I won't do it alone. I need you. His parents' expressions shifted, a flicker of confusion crossing their faces. The ground beneath them felt shaky but alive with potential. Could they truly understand the strength that came from love? Just then, a clap of thunder shook the windows, drawing their attention back to the forlorn sky outside, mirroring the chaos in the room. The rain seemed unending, but Sarah felt a newfound warmth blooming within her chest. Please understand, I want to be part of something real, Jack continued. Not just your vision. Jack, your happiness is important. But his mother began, her voice trailing off as she caught his eyes, those fierce, defiant eyes that reminded her of the little boy she raised, the one unafraid to challenge the world. As silence enveloped them again, Sarah could see the flicker of possibility. A chance to climb from the ashes, to turn the pain of disapproval into a catalyst for growth and understanding. But what would it take to convince Jack's parents to see beyond their rigid expectations? What did love require of them now? The uncertainty loomed, thick and unsolvable as they stood there, the thunder rumbling deep in the distance. Sarah felt the gravity of the moment. Would they find their way through the storm together? The answer lingered on the tip of her tongue, but the question remained. How far would they all have to go to find acceptance? Jack's heartbeat thundered in his chest, matching the storm outside. His parents shifted in their seats, uncertainty etched in their expressions. The air felt charged, filled with the weight of unspoken words. Sarah squeezed Jack's hand, and he let the familiar warmth course through him, giving him the strength to look back at his parents. "Mom, Dad," he said, his voice steadier than he felt. "I understand you want what's best for me, but I have to live my own life. Not just the life you envisioned for me. I can't keep trying to fit into a mold that doesn't suit me. You raised me to have beliefs and to stand up for them." His father shook his head slowly, the disappointment evident. "It's not that simple, Jack. You think you love her, but what do you really know about love? About commitment? I know it's worth fighting for." Jack shot back, his frustration bubbling over. "I don't expect you to understand, but I cannot deny what I feel. Sarah makes me happy. True happiness, not just a facade to please you." With the last words hanging in the air, the silence was deafening. Jack's mother looked away, blinking away tears. He could see the struggle beneath her composed exterior. Jack waited, hoping for a glimmer of understanding. "Sometimes, love isn't enough," she finally said, voice soft and trembling. "Why isn't it?" Sarah interjected, her voice brave, yet vulnerable. "Why should love ever be limited? Isn't that what we're all searching for? A connection that gives meaning to our lives?" Jack's parents exchanged glances, the tension thick on their faces. For a fleeting moment, Jack thought they might actually comprehend his emotions, but the wall of tradition stood strong. It was then that Ben piped up, ever the innocent peacemaker. "Can we all just go outside and play in the rain?" His wide eyes sparkled with hope. "We can jump in puddles." Jack couldn't help but chuckle. The tension broke just a bit as Sarah laughed softly, and even Jack's parents shared a reluctant smile. But the gravity of the situation pulled them back down, shadows turning their expressions serious once again. "Ben, sweetie, we'll see about that later," Sarah said gently, stroking his hair. "Right now, we're talking about something really important." Jack's heart sank. He wished more than anything to make Ben's innocent suggestion come true, to be able to just run outside and forget the world for a moment. But first, they had to face the truth. "Think of it this way," he pressed on, searching for anything that might spark a change. "If you want me to be happy, doesn't that mean giving me the freedom to choose who I love? I know it's tough, but isn't that love? Letting someone be who they are?" Jack's mother inhaled sharply, deep lines forming on her forehead as she absorbed his words. He could see the gears turning in her mind. "You're not a child anymore, Jack," his father said, softer this time. "But we worry. The world can be cruel, you've seen that firsthand. Will she always be able to support you in the way we would want for you?" Jack felt a surge of determination. "I want to find out. I need you to trust me." There was a pause as they processed this plea. Jack could almost hear the storm outside settle a little as the arguments hung in the balance. The raindrops rhythmically tapped against the window, reminding them of the chaotic outside world, a world full of pain, but also of hope and beauty. "I don't want to live a life dictated by fear," he continued, voice firm. "I need to believe that love can battle through anything. I choose to stand by Sarah. I hope you can stand by me." As the storm began to wane with a soft drizzle, Sarah stepped forward, her vulnerability laid bare. "Your approval means everything to us, but we need a chance to show that love can conquer your fears." Just then, another clap of thunder sounded, but it felt further away, echoing, but softer. Jack's parents looked at each other, uncertainty and perhaps a hint of realization reflected in their eyes. What would they choose? Jack held his breath, hoping for acceptance but fearing rejection. Would they ever see beyond their beliefs? The rain continued, a gentle reminder of life's unpredictability. Would their fight for love be what broke through the storm? Jack didn't know, but he felt a shift was coming, and his heart pounded at the thought. The tension hung. The question lingered in the humid air. Could they redefine family together amidst the chaos? The soft patter of rain against the window contrasted with the storm of emotions whipping inside Jack. Each second felt like an eternity as he waited for his parents' response. He could feel the weight of uncertainty pressing down, filling the air with tightness. Sarah's hand remained clasped securely in his, her warmth a steady flame of encouragement amidst the growing unease. Then, his mother spoke, her voice stronger now, cracking only slightly. "Jack, you know we love you. We only want what's best for you. But you have to understand, life isn't always a fairy tale. There are sacrifices, pain. What if you get hurt?" Her eyes were pleading, seeking an answer to her fears. "I get that, Mom. Life is tough. But isn't it about facing those challenges together? I want Sarah by my side. I choose her, no matter what may come." The conviction in Jack's voice surprised even him. It felt raw and real, as if he was breaking free from chains and allowing himself to truly be. His father finally spoke up, voice gravelly. "We raised you to believe in love, Jack, but we also taught you to be cautious. What you're asking for is a leap into the unknown. Love isn't all that matters when life has so many complexities. And does that mean I should avoid it altogether?" Jack shot back, frustration creeping into his tone again. Is fear really the best teacher? I want to tackle those complexities with Sarah, not hide from them. The tension sat thick in the air, and Jack's eyes searched his parents for understanding. They remained silent, the storm outside now replaced by a gentle drizzle, almost as if the weather mirrored their shifting emotions. Then, Ben interrupted again, his youthful innocence shining through the cloudy atmosphere. "Can we really go play outside now? Please?" His request was hopeful, a simple way to lift the heaviness of their conversation. Sarah knelt down beside Ben, her brow slightly furrowed in thought. "Maybe we can all go? Just for a little while? Jumping in puddles could be fun. It might help." Jack nodded, grateful for her ability to lighten their gloom with a sliver of joy. "Yeah, let us forget this for a moment. Just let us be kids in the rain." His voice was softer now, full of the longing to reconnect, to remember simpler times. His mother looked between them. A flicker of emotion played across her face. "Perhaps we could use some fresh air." After a pause, Jack caught a tiny smile breaking through the shadows. "After all, it was your idea, Ben." With that, they moved toward the door, the older one still hesitant, but clearly softened by the innocence and enthusiasm of the youngest. Jack felt his chest lighten a bit, as if each step away from the heavy talk was freeing him of weight he hadn't even realized he was carrying. The fresh scent of rain hit him with a rush the moment he stepped outside, and he let out a laugh, feeling a release as he twirled in the downpour, his parents trailing behind with Ben leading the way. "Jump!" Ben shouted, splashing into the largest puddle he could find with unrestrained glee. Water splashed everywhere, causing an eruption of laughter that followed. Jack followed suit. He leaped forward, landing with a loud splash. The cold water felt like joy.as they soaked in all that frivolity. Jack's thoughts drifted. Maybe this was what they needed, moments of joy alongside the tough discussions. But still, doubts lingered. Would his parents truly come around? Could they accept Sarah and support his choices? The storm of emotions hadn't completely settled. As they moved back inside, dripping wet but grinning, Jack stepped aside and caught Sarah's eye. "This isn't over," he whispered softly. "They haven't really said yes." Sarah squeezed his hand tighter, her eyes shimmering with determination. "But love can triumph, Jack. We just have to keep showing them. One splash at a time." The storm may have quieted, but the thunder of uncertainty remained in Jack's heart. He turned to look back at his parents, waiting the next steps hovering just beyond reach. Would one small moment of connection shatter the walls of fear? He couldn't help but wonder what storm awaited them next. The warmth of the living room enveloped Jack as he stepped in, still vibrating with the excitement of the rain-soaked fun. Ben ran off to the bathroom, his laughter echoing against the tiled walls while he tried to turn into a wet sponge, leaving Jack and his parents to handle the aftermath of their unexpected outing. "I needed that," Jack said, breaking the lingering silence as he wrung out his shirt. The water dripped onto the floor, forming a small puddle, reminding him of their earlier escapades. He looked at his parents, gauging their reactions now that they had stepped back from the emotional precipice they had been perilously close to minutes before. His mother caught his gaze and smiled, the corners of her lips lifting almost imperceptibly. "You've always loved the rain, Jack. I still remember you jumping in puddles every chance you got." The fondness in her voice stirred something warm inside him. "Maybe it just takes a storm for us to remember how to have fun," Jack replied, attempting to lighten the moment. "I want to keep creating those memories with Sarah and Ben, even when things get dark. Life is not just about avoiding the rain. It's about dancing in it." His father nodded, leaning against the kitchen counter, arms crossed. "You've grown up so fast. It's good to see you finding joy, but it's also okay to be careful. Love is fragile, and it's your heart we're trying to protect." Jack's heart slipped a little. The wondering glances he exchanged with Sarah spoke more than words ever could. He had wanted his parents to see that love wasn't just about protecting his heart, but about believing in its strength. "I appreciate that, Dad. But isn't that the beauty of it? We all take risks. I'm willing to take mine with Sarah. Can't love also be about learning and growing together?" Jack's father opened his mouth as if to respond, but hesitated, his brow furrowing in thought. The weight of the moment hung there, thick and palpable as Ben barreled back into the room, bright-eyed and grinning. "Can we do that again tomorrow? The rain was so fun." "Maybe, but first, let us get you dried off and into some warm clothes," Jack's mother said, dropping her concerns about her oldest onto the shelf of the moment. She rushed over, placing her hands on Ben's shoulders and guiding him a little, prompting laughter again as Ben dashed through the house. Jack caught sight of Sarah. Her eyes were glimmering, reflecting hope and excitement. This was a step, she mouthed to him, hiding her delight behind a cautious smile. "Yes, it was," Jack agreed, though his heart drummed its unrest beneath the surface. He felt empowered, yet the specter of doubt loomed over them all. Just then, the doorbell rang. Everyone froze. Jack looked at his parents, watching as his mother glanced toward the window, squinting as if she could see who it was through the closed door. Who could that be? She mused aloud, her voice uncertain, like the fading thunder still rumbling in the distance. Jack's pulse quickened. Maybe it's a neighbor. But deep down, he couldn't shake an uneasy feeling. Or maybe it's someone who can change everything, Sarah whispered, squeezing his hand. Jack could only hope as he approached the door, the echo of his steps filled with possibilities. Who was waiting on the other side? Would it help or hurt? His heart raced as he reached for the handle, his breath caught in his throat. This was a moment that could shift everything, for better or worse. What lay beyond the threshold? Jack hesitated, his heart pounding in his chest as he grasped the doorknob. The world outside for a fleeting moment held its breath, as if the air itself was aware something significant was about to unfold. He took a deep breath in, committing to the moment, and opened the door. Standing there was a tall figure, partially obscured by the shadow of the porch light, rain-soaked hair clinging to her forehead. Jack blinked, trying to process the sudden appearance of Emily, his childhood friend who had moved away years ago. For a split second, nostalgia crashed over him like the rain they had just enjoyed. "Emily?" he whispered, disbelief washing over him. "Jack, I didn't think I'd see you here," she replied, her voice quaking with surprise and excitement. The pleading eyes that had once brought them both so much joy now held an unmistakable weight. "What are you doing back in town?" he asked, stepping aside to let her in. As she walked past him, the warmth of the living room greeted her, and for a moment, it felt as if the years melted away. Jack caught a glimpse of his mother's startled expression while Ben continued to bounce, oblivious to the emotional current pulsing through the room. "I just moved back," Emily started, her eyes darting around as she soaked in the familiar surroundings. "Things have changed a lot since, well, you know." Jack felt the air thicken with unspoken stories, their shared past clawing its way back to the surface. "How have you been?" he ventured cautiously, hoping not to unearth too much too quickly. "Good. Busy. I've got a little girl now, Madeline." Her face brightened with pride, and suddenly, it was clear how much had shifted, not just for them, but for their lives. She loves the rain too, just like we used to. It's one of the first things I thought of when I heard the storm today. Jack's heart warmed hearing that familiar spark in her voice, but also clenched with confusion. Where did this new road lead? That's amazing, Em. What brings you back, really? Before she could respond, Jack's parents exchanged glances, the weight of history hanging heavily. His father shifted, suddenly looking uncomfortable. I wanted to find out if we could start fresh, Emily managed, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't expect it today, not after everything. But with everything that happened back then, I wanted to see if there was still room for us to connect. The electric tension filled the room. Jack's thoughts raced. What did she mean? He recalled their shared laughter, the adventures that had cemented their bond. They had once been inseparable friends. Could he allow her back into his life so easily now? Mom, Dad, can I talk to Emily for a minute? Jack felt a rush of determination. He needed a moment, one that would settle this whirlwind inside him. Of course, honey, we can finish drying the boys, his mother replied, her voice steady. The moment his parents stepped away, Jack leaned against the door frame, crossing his arms, unsure of how to navigate this sudden stir of memories and feelings. Jack, I missed you. And what happened? It was complicated, Emily said, her eyes sincere. And I hope you won't judge me for what it's been. I don't want to judge, he interrupted. I just want to understand. He felt the warmth of the room wrap around them, holding memories of the past while exciting threads of the future beckoned. But were they treading on shaky ground? And just when Jack thought he could manage this storm, his heart sank. He noticed a flicker of movement behind her, a small figure peeking from the shadows of the porch. Is that? He started, jaws tightening as he squinted into the night. Yes, Emily replied, smiling faintly. The weight of the moment collided with a fresh wave of uncertainty. What did this mean for him, Sarah, and even Emily's child? In a blink, he felt everything shifting beneath his feet again. Jack swallowed hard, and the question hung in the air, sharp and heavy. Who was this new person about to come into his life, and would it forever alter everything he had started to build? The silence stretched, thick with unasked questions and uncharted territory. Jack's eyes flitted between Emily's face and the shadow at her back. The flickering porch light illuminated the small figure more as she stepped forward, revealing a little girl, hair tousled and eyes wide with curiosity, the spitting image of Emily. Mommy, I don't want to wait outside anymore, she declared, a pout forming on her lips. Jack felt his heart tug. He remembered caring about the little things, those tiny moments that made life bright. Madeline, Emily knelt to soothe her daughter, her expression softening. This is Jack. He.S. a very special friend. The girl's gaze shifted to him, and her brow furrowed, searching for familiarity in his face. Jack felt a rush of warmth. Could he take on the role of special friend after so many years? Hi, Madeline, he said, forcing a smile. I've heard a lot about you. Emily stood, looking uncertain. It didn't go as planned, she murmured, brushing damp strands behind her ear. I hope we'd be able to talk alone, without all this surprise. She gestured awkwardly at Madeline, who was now distracted by the brightly colored toys scattered across the floor. Jack nodded. The weight of her past, and the uncertainty of what was next pressed on him like a storm cloud. It's okay. It's a lot to digest. Madeline had wandered over to Ben, who was still bouncing on the couch, and suddenly they were caught up in their own small world of giggles and games. Watching them, a tiny smile formed on Jack's lips. The innocence of youth brought an unexpected comfort. Everything feels so different, Emily said, her voice trembling slightly as if stepping on a tightrope. Yet, somehow, still the same. Jack wondered how Emily could feel that way when so much had changed. Her life had taken a path he hadn't expected. You were family to me once. I just don't know how we fit into each other's lives now, he confessed, his voice low. Emily's gaze dropped to the floor. I guess I feel the same, but I wanted you to know that I'm here. I want to be here. For Madeline, too. A silence fell, heavy with meaning. Jack's chest tightened. He remembered the laughter they shared, the secrets whispered under starlit skies. Could he open that door again? What does Sarah think about all this? Emily broke the silence, her expression cautious. Jack felt his stomach twist at the mention of his girlfriend. Honestly, I haven't told her yet, he admitted, guilt immediately overshadowing the curiosity this moment had ignited. The air thickened again, swirling with possibilities he hadn't anticipated. Could the past really come rushing back like this, with such intensity? Emily's face softened, and he saw a flicker of understanding in her eyes. I don't want to complicate things for you. I never meant to disrupt your life. He wanted to reach out, to assure her that their story didn't have to be over, yet he also knew the stakes had grown too high. The little girl giggled, a fresh cascade of laughter that pierced through the tension. Can we start again? Jack found himself asking, the hope spilling out of him before he could think it through. He glanced at Madeline and then back at Emily, searching for an answer in the depths of her gaze. We could try, she replied, her tone laced with cautious optimism. One day at a time, right? Just then, the doorbell rang, an unexpected interruption. The room froze, hearts pounding. Jack exchanged a startled look with Emily. Who could it be at this hour? And what if it was someone who would throw this delicate moment into turmoil? He took a breath, uncertainty mingling with curiosity. What lay beyond that door now? Should we see who it is? He suggested, the uncertainty riling through him again as he turned toward the entryway. Yes, but be careful, Emily warned, her eyes wide as if the answer could change everything. Jack nodded, holding on to the fragile hope of this new beginning. Little did he know, that was only the beginning of a revelation that could shift everything he thought he knew about his life. As Jack swung open the door, the room fell silent once more. Standing there was a familiar, elderly face adorned with a warm smile, their neighbor, Mrs. Thompson. She stood clutching a plate of freshly baked cookies, steam still rising from them. Well, hello? I thought I heard commotion in here, she said jovially, her voice lightening the tension that had hung like a storm cloud just moments ago. Jack let out a nervous laugh, grateful for the interruption. Mrs. Thompson, you always know when to drop by, he said, stepping aside to let her in. Her presence filled the space with an essence of comfort, a reminder of community amidst the chaotic undercurrents that swirled around them. Thought I'd bring a little treat for the family, she chirped, her eyes sparkling as she glanced at the wide-eyed children playing in the background. And I must say, it's good to see young ones enjoying life, especially during a storm. Madeline darted over, her tiny hands reaching for a cookie, leaving Jack and Emily momentarily in the shadow of the moment. The warmth radiating from Mrs. Thompson felt refreshing, reminding them that even when formidable storms brewed, the simple joys of life could connect them all. Thanks, Mrs. Thompson. Madeline beamed, accepting the cookie, and in that moment, a little laughter sprang forth, breaking the tension even further. Jack turned to see Emily watching, her initial worries softening as they were swept up in this small moment of joy. Perhaps this storm was meant to bring us together, Emily mused, smiling at Mrs. Thompson as she settled down on the couch. Jack could see the gears turning in Emily's mind, realizations dawning that perhaps being back wouldn't just redefine their past, but also their present. Mrs. Thompson regaled them with tales from the neighborhood over cookies and milk. Jack felt a shift in the atmosphere. The wild energy from earlier faded slightly, replaced by the warmth of shared stories and laughter. Maybe love could defy expectations, and maybe they could find a way to navigate the complexities ahead together. But as happy as he felt, a knot remained in Jack's stomach. The echoing question of how all this would affect Sarah loomed larger than ever. She was still in the room and watching quietly, every nuance of the conversation evident on her face. Finally, as the laughter waned, Jack turned to Emily, sensing the weight of their unspoken words hanging in the air. Emily, about what you said earlier. I know, she said, admiring his resolve. You're starting a new chapter with Sarah right now. I just wanted you to know I'd like to be part of that future, but I don't want to interfere. But it's complicated, Jack said softly, glancing back at Sarah. Her gaze flickered with vulnerability and understanding. I didn't expect you to come back, especially not now. Life is complicated, Jack. Sometimes, we're thrown together because we need to sort through things, Emily said gently, her sincerity shining through. Jack felt the walls closing in again. I just started to build something with Sarah. I didn't mean for this to happen. At that moment, Sarah stepped forward, her presence strong and resolute. It's okay, Jack. We all have a history, and sometimes life gives us unexpected paths. I want you to talk to Emily and figure this out. As much as it may sting, she said, her voice steady. Really? Jack turned to her, surprise flickering in his eyes. Well, yes. After all, I'm not letting fear dictate my life anymore, she smiled, but there was a hint of worry in her eyes. We'll figure this out, together. The air felt electric as Jack and Sarah shared a knowing glance. Love did conquer, and maybe, just maybe, they could navigate this storm as a united front. Emily smiled, visibly relieved, but the journey still loomed ahead, a winding path full of uncertainties. Madeline popped her head between Jack and Emily, interrupting the adult standoff, her expression animated. Can we go jump in puddles again? Laughter erupted once more, breaking the tension and allowing them to remember the simple joys that were still possible in life. Jack nodded, feeling his heart swell with hope. Yes, let us go play. Together, they all piled outside, laughter mixed with the patter of rain, encircling each other in jubilant frolicking. In that moment, beneath the cascading rain, Jack felt clarity wane through the worries that troubled him. The future was still uncertain, but perhaps it was designed to be explored together, a tapestry of connection richer than societal flaws, built on trust, respect, and love. They could do this, as the rain tapped rhythmically around them. Jack vowed to keep the connection alive, nurturing each friendship and love. This storm had taught him that even the fiercest winds could lead to wondrous discoveries. Together, they would build something meaningful amidst the chaos. Laughter rippled through the air as they splashed in puddles, creating ripples that carried the echoes of connection and belonging to the depths of their hearts. They were ready to embrace whatever came next, united and hopeful. Now, before you wander off, this is your chance to be part of this journey. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, and let this story shine bright. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending, because your voice matters. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. They deserve to feel the power of love, too.